sitting with Ben Freeman, Jewish activist, educator. You can find Ben on Instagram, Twitter, and Medium at Ben M. Freeman, and soon to be on your bookshelf. So let's talk about your book. What's the title? And people can pre-order it, right?
Yeah, and why don't we have autographed copies?
I promise you'll get them.
What's the elevator pitch?
So my book is called Jewish Pride, Rebuilding a People, and it aims to inspire, empower, and educate Jews to reject the shame of anti-Semitism, to reject non-Jewish perceptions of what it means to be a Jew, and ultimately to begin the process of defining Jewish identity as proud Jews through an exploration of Jewish history, Jewish experience, and Jewish values. When we talk about anti-Semitism, we're obviously talking about legal discrimination. We're talking about pogroms, mass murder, expulsion. But what we don't talk about very often is how we as Jews are shamed by anti-Semitism as well. You know, we're living, at the beginning of the conversation, we talked about Corbyn and the Democrats. The reality is what we're experiencing now is not like things that Jews experienced in the past. It is not a Holocaust. It's not an Inquisition. It's not a, expulsion. But we are being shamed all the time. I'm a very proud Jew, but there have been times in my life where I have braced for impact before telling people that I was Jewish. And Jewish people have tried to fit in, we've tried to assimilate or integrate, whatever you want to call it, in a desperate need to be accepted. And we change ourselves. As I said at the beginning, there is this notion that the Jews are a solely religious group. That's not true. One of the reasons that idea came about was to circumvent anti-Semitism. So we change ourselves. We beg to be accepted. Has the non-Jewish world accepted us? No, not really. It's a toxic relationship. And it's not that we're rejecting the non-Jewish world. Absolutely not. I'm not advocating for 1 second for Jews to leave the diaspora. I'm not advocating for 1 second for Jews to live as isolated, ghettoized communities. But I'm saying we should interact, but as proud Jews, not willing to kind of warp or alter our Jewishness to be accepted. We should demand to be accepted as we are.
And we can both accept who we are and refute, but while also assimilating into diasporic communities. Those aren't inherently oppositional.
No, I would probably say not assimilate, because that actually means to shed identity, but absolutely we can integrate 100%. We can live as Americans or Brits or the French, wherever, but only if they allow us to, and they don't. They don't allow us to live peacefully. We're Jews from the United States, right? And Britain, I live in Hong Kong, and we're having another conversation about anti-Semitism. So no matter how hard we try, they don't accept us. So there's two things that need to happen. We need to kind of find the collective and individual self-esteem to engage proudly, but they need to solve anti-Semitism. Because let's be clear, anti-Semitism is not a Jewish problem. It is a non-Jewish problem that impacts us. So they have work to do, and we have work to do. And then we can come together. I think it's something that I've seen online is that Jews have been crying out for pride. And the book is rooted in my experience as a gay man and how I became comfortable and proud of my LGBTQ plus identity through pride. It's probably not surprising to many people that I suffered from kind of quite severe mental health issues because of societal homophobia. And I had to do a lot of work to overcome that and arrive at pride. And Jewish people also need to do that work. And we should be permitted, we should be given permission, we should be supported in doing that work, because we're people just like any other, and we shouldn't feel ashamed of ourselves.
Well, don't you give yourself permission though, as well?
Yes, you absolutely do, but I sometimes think you have to be reminded that you can. If you're someone who's lived your whole life in a world telling you a specific thing about your identity, you can believe it. We internalize all of the things that go on around us. So sometimes you need something or someone to jolt you out of that kind of mindset and say, actually, you should be proud of yourself. You should love yourself. You should value who you are and be unwilling to change to be accepted. You should be accepted as exactly as you are.